My miniature Wild West Table Mountain.
Wow.
It is amazing. I'm jealous. I'm definitely jealous. Yeah, so our wonderful speakers are flying in, so we got 1 more minute to go. I'm actually Austrian, but I adapted too much German, like being on time and, you know, but it's important. Yeah, so I think we can start. Let's just wait a little bit because we just still have a lot of hundreds of people coming in, which is amazing. So we got great greetings from Big Apple, greetings from Italy, greetings from Turkey. Hello, Renee from Passionist. Hi there, from Cologne. Oh my gosh. I can't even follow. Munich, Barcelona, Israel, Hamburg, Black Forest in Germany, Amsterdam. Ibiza is the place to be. Salmon Pines Kempinski, of course. Hello from Luxembourg. That's a beautiful city as well. Hello from India. Sanjay, welcome. Gosh, Christos, hi from Greece. Lots. Mandarin Oriental, he's here. Nadine. Miami Beach, Palma. Can't see. Well, lots of we have Portugal, so we have them all. It's amazing. Mexico, Paris. Okay, so the entire world, I can say. So let's start with this wonderful panel today. I'm really very honored. I'm very proud to have such an amazing speakers here with me. This is our 9th episode. We started this in April, mainly for first we started off for our German-speaking markets, but then it extended somehow. Which was wonderful. It's an amazing crowd. We had a summer break now, and why are we doing this? Of course, we cannot look into a crystal ball. We cannot predict the future, but this crisis has definitely proven that it is so important in this time to be part of a strong community. It's essential to be amongst friends in the community, and I'm also a believer in listening to understand as an industry, and if we do that globally, we can become a better place. And this is really what we believe in, and I'm so proud to have people here with me that have so much expertise and also are part of making this world a better place. So welcome all of you. I would like to introduce my panel speakers. I'll start with our cowboy, James. Welcome, James. Hey. James is a prize-winning global hotelier who has led some of the world's leading hotels during his 25 years professional career. He is known for his unlimited creativity, clever marketing techniques, and exceptional hotel experiences. In 2012, he partnered up with his long-term friend and investor, Christopher Birch, to the acquisition of Nihi, known as Nihi Sumba nowadays. Nihi is an amazing surf destination on the Indonesian island of Sumba. #1 hotel voted by Travel and Leisure in 2016 and 2017, and it's now a philanthropic resort dedicated to preserving Sumba's culture and heritage, all through the operational support of Sumba Foundation. I had the amazing pleasure to be there last year. It's unforgettable, and I will come back. And James McBride, it's a great pleasure to welcome you to our panel today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Astrid. Thank you for your very kind words.
Thank you. And for those who are just tuning in now, James is at the moment in Utah at the beautiful Sorrel River Ranch on holiday. And thanks for spending time of your holiday with us. We really appreciate that.
No, truly honored. And just for all those on the call, this is one beautiful place in Moab, Utah. And if you're stuck in the USA, very well worth visiting. It's absolutely spectacular.
Fantastic. Thank you. I would like to welcome John Brown. Joined Virgin Holidays in 1998 and was operations director for 2 years. You were then MD at the La Residencia in Mallorca, so you know your Mallorca really well, before returning as MD for Virgin Hotels in 2001. John has a wide range of experience with the hospitality industry, including positions in general area management and group roles, and now you're responsible for the development and expansion of the group. Virtual limited edition is Sir Richard Branson's collection of retreats. We all know that. We have it, they have it all. Private islands, game reserve lodge, tented camps, vineyards and luxury villas with Ulusava and Morechelle in South Africa, Kashfa Tamatut in Marrakesh, Necker Island and Mosquito Island, Mahali Musuri in Kenya, as well as Lodge at Babier in Babier and Son Bunyola in Mallorca, where you are currently sitting in your beautiful garden, enjoying the Mallorquin life. Very warm welcome, John. Thanks for joining.
Thank you very much. That was a very nice welcome indeed. I'm extremely flattered to be in this company, actually. It's a great panel to be on, so very grateful to come along and talk today. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the next gentleman, I really don't have to introduce, Matthew Upchurch. This is impossible to introduce. Everybody knows you. Matthew is a travel industry visionary and has led Virtuoso Travel to become the top luxury travel network in the world. This is something you can be really proud of. In our observation during the crisis, Virtuoso really was standing out like a light tower. This is my observation. I was listening to every single talk of yours on the Friday, and we shared it with the team, and it gave us a lot. And thanks for doing that. And I think Virtuoso has the same motto as we do at Lobster. It's we are what we share. And that's super important. And I think you have also supported companies outside of your Virtuoso community with what you've been doing throughout the crisis. And that's really strong. It's really, we are what we share. I'm very proud to have you here today with us as well, Matthew. Thank you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. And I couldn't agree more that we are what we share. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
As a member, I couldn't agree with you more on the job that Virtuoso and Matthew and his team have done. He's also a good guy. You see that smile? He's a good man as well. You see? He's a tycoon, but he's a good human being. And that's what's most important.
Absolutely.
Here, here.
So last but not least, Silvio Rebmann. Silvio is an amazing friend, but he also has a very cool career. I don't know if some of you know, who knows Silvio, that he started his business 18 years ago in the living room. So, and created his first travel agency with a friend. So you started from scratch, Silvio. You're an extremely passionate and knowledgeable person. And you know not only the luxury products very well, but you're also extremely fit in the technology part of things. You were one of the founding Virtuoso members of EMEA and are part of various advisory boards. Yeah, and in the industry, and I found that always very fascinating about you, you're known as a passionate aviation geek. Your flight statistics show 1.8 million kilometers flown, which equals 2.5 times to the Earth and the Moon and back. So very warm welcome, Silvio. You are definitely a pro. And Silvio is today at the Birkenstock resort in Switzerland, also on holiday. Matthew and I are the only ones who are back in the offices. But Silvio, a very warm welcome to you as well.
Thank you very much, Astrid. Thank you for the lovely invitation. It's a great pleasure. And yes, under normal circumstances, I would most likely not be in Switzerland. I would be somewhere on holidays on the other end of the planet. But in these days, things are changing, and I'm really enjoying driving vacation or just flying around the corner to lovely Switzerland. And the Birkenstock Resort is definitely one of the kind. The new director of sales of marketing, Sven Flori, really one of the most passionate people I know here in the Swiss travel industry, and a very great pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you, Sven. Sven is Sven Flori. Thank you, Silvio. Sorry for that. Now, for those who don't know me, maybe I just give a very slight brief introduction in 3-4 sentences. My name is Astrid. I'm the founder of Lobster Experience, a sales and representation company for the German-speaking and the wonderful 15 Central European countries. We are also onto our sales, marketing, and PR representation, and we are also the founders of Loop, a the one and only luxury travel show in our marketplace, German speaking and CEE. Loop stands for Luxury on Our Planet. We founded Loop 6 years ago, and it was just also the community power that we wanted to give our marketplace here, where people come together and share everything they want to share. So welcome everybody. I'm going to start with sharing our thoughts about this situation we're having. So, hey James, I would like to start with you. You were stuck in Nihi, Sumba, 3 months. You were stuck in paradise. You go to Nihi about 4 times a year, I believe, and you couldn't get back, so you were there 3 months. And we would all like to know, how has your view on the business changed throughout that stay? And what are your learnings from your long enforced stay on Nihi? You have said to me it did change your life.
Well, thank you. So just for the benefit of the audience, Nihi Sumba is on the island of Sumba, as I don't think everyone knows where it is. And Sumba is a very large landmass, 2.5 times bigger than Bali, 1 hour east of Bali. It's actually the size of Massachusetts or Jamaica. And Nihi Sumba sits on a 2.5 kilometer beach on the western part of the island. So I was there, as Astrid says, and I was going there in March from the new airport, which I connected from New York in Istanbul, which is actually great, by the way. And I had this little peaking feeling that I would get stuck there, which I didn't mind, but I thought it would be for 2 or 3 weeks. And as it turned out to be, it was 90 days. And I think that we closed probably a week into it. And I was there with Charlie, we have a chocolate factory called Chris and Charlie's Chocolate Factory. Charlie was with me, and my CEO, Dan, and the team. And I think what the major pieces were that struck me were understanding the humility of the Sudanese people. They were probably making at the peak with a service charge about $500 a month, and with tourism being eradicated, with the generosity of Chris Birch, we've been able to keep everyone, but they're probably making $80 a month. And we're so grateful and thankful for what they were receiving. We raised probably another $400,000 through the Sumba Foundation, and the Sumba Foundation provided sugar, provided oil, provided rice, provided basic essentials. And being so close to that and witnessing appreciation and witnessing people that truly, truly value the human spirit, value family in the poorest of environments, really struck my emotions in every way and made me want to say, why don't I spend more time here? Why do I always want to be in an airplane? Why, when I'm landing, do I want to be saying, where am I going next? What's happening? Where am I? I'm in Saint-Tropez, I'm in St. Bart's. I want to go here, I want to go there. And I just questioned all of that. I also lost 20 pounds, which was an amazing experience too, because I hiked every day. I slept in the same bed for 92 days, had the same routine every day, reflected back and said, when did you last have the same routine? Really value what was around you and connect with the people that were there that are extraordinary human beings. And putting all of those things together just made me evaluate the importance of being in the present and being with the people that are around you, loving them, respecting them, and not taking anything for granted.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
There you go.
Wow, that's fantastic. Absolutely. That did change your life. I mean, that's for sure an amazing experience. In terms of, I would like to ask Matthew, you know, we have all these wonderful experiences now. When this all started, I was so concerned about my travel agencies in the entire world. And of course, we still are. Because transporting the message that James has to the community out there is what the travel agency's advisor's job is. So in my opinion, the value of the travel agency has never been as important as now, keeping in mind that some clients simply do not want to travel at the moment because they are afraid, or they are afraid to get stuck. And it's really challenging for our agencies. What are the opportunities you see in terms of the role of the travel agent? Do we need to reposition the role of the travel agent nowadays in this crisis and after? How do you see this, please?
Well, thank you. And again, and by the way, I couldn't agree more with James about, I just want to add one quick thing to what James said. We'll talk about it later, but I do think that some of the early recovery travelers, long haul travelers, are going to be those travelers that are connected to a greater purpose with travel, supporting communities, supporting culture, and we'll get more into that. But back to the advisor thing, I think the way I would answer that is, whenever you have a crisis, and of course, let's be frank about this crisis. Never in the history of the planet have 100% of all countries had a travel restriction at the same time. It's never happened. It's a first. But whenever you have a crisis, one of the things that it does is that it speeds up trends. Whether that trend is for something that was moving and going up, or whether it was going down. And there's a number of things that were happening. And I think that the first thing that I would say about the advisory business is all of our consumer research that we've done over the past 15 years basically tells us one thing, and that is that the key difference from a consumer perspective, a traveler perspective, between what they consider a maybe valuable, maybe well-liked travel agent that books travel, the difference between that and a trusted travel advisor, right, is the conversation after the trip. So what happens is, what I've learned over the years is that a lot of our best advisors, when I look at the most valuable, the most successful advisors, they're never booking one trip at a time. They all have their own unique way of the way in which they engage their travelers, where when they call them, when they get back, when they interact with them in the way they like, they're finding out, what did you like? What could we do better? And it becomes a relationship that grows. The value of that relationship grows. So I think that from that perspective, there is a great opportunity to be in the advisory business. But I keep reminding everybody, if you say you're in the business of booking travel as a travel agent, you've almost lost before you started, because there are hundreds of new ways of booking travel every day. Booking travel is just one piece of it. It's what's the value, what's the value prior to the trip? How do I help you make better informed decisions? How do I inspire you? How do I give you that insight? What do I do during the trip? My ability to be there for you, because it's travel. So it's not if something's going to go wrong, but when something goes wrong, and the utilization of your contacts and all that. And then the last part is the value post the travel. That's that whole conversation. So, you know, the advisory business and the world has gotten more complicated. And I think the other thing that's really important is, you know, we value the power of human connection. But it's not just a nice, it's not just a nice platitude. It's real. It's a very important professional advantage, because when this crisis hit, the heroic jobs that our advisors were able to do because of the quality of the relationships they had with our partners was unbelievable. Those things happen. So I think there's a lot of things. And the other piece of advice that I'm telling anybody who's a travel advisor right now, because it is, you know, it is tough, is make sure and spend time with your absolute most valuable clients. And if you ever were shy about asking for referrals, don't be shy. Now is the time to ask your very best clients, who else? Because the very best clients want their advisors to survive. They want them to stay in business. They do not want to lose them.
Absolutely. I love that about the referrals. It's absolutely the time. And people were shy before, definitely, because you don't do that and that. So I mean, this is a very, very good advice as well, definitely. Sean, talking about trends, Matthew talked about trends, and there is always something following. I mean, Virgin limited edition results are very private and actually designed with the personal touch of Richard Branson, who basically opens up his homes to his clients. Now, you guys have always gone very unique ways, also in marketing and sales. And I would like to know, what have been your biggest learning from the situation, and how do you feel you needed to change your marketing approach due to this situation now? What has changed?
Well, I think the day I went home when lockdown started in the UK and started taking a long, hard look at what we had and what we lay ahead of us. And I think the one great unknown was, how long is this going to last? And when are we going to get out of it? And I think we still don't know that. And therefore, we had to think about three things mainly: innovation, communication, and consideration. And those three things form the pillars of how we've been operating and how we've been managing over the last 4 to 5 months. And in terms of being innovative, the great thing about working for a company like Virgin is, the shackles are off and you're free to do what you want to do. And we employ people who've got incredible imagination and great spirit. And my favorite piece of innovation that we've come up with is sofa safaris. 3 o'clock every Monday afternoon.
Sofa safaris, I love it.
Sofa safari. You go on safari from your living room, and we'll take you out into the Sabi Sands in South Africa, driven by our rangers from Ulusaba, and they'll show you the most amazing things. And then we extended that to our property in Kenya, Mahali, Missouri. And on Wednesday afternoons, the team there are taking people out on a sofa safari. And right now it's the migration. And so some of the sites are truly spectacular. And I mean, apart from this being really cool and creative and fun, what it has done is engaged our clients, and we've kept in touch with them. And that sort of cemented the trust that we already had there with them. And I'm really proud to say that nearly 60% of our business that we lost this year has just transferred over to next year. And these are our customers who just said, that's fine, we'll come next year instead. And building that trust, I think, is absolutely massive. So it's a communication thing as well as the innovation, and it's keeping in touch with our people and with our clients. We also did virtual wine tastings from our vineyard in Mont Rochelle, and we're going to take that further. We're going to send people bottles of wine, and then our winemaker will talk you through how to taste a bottle of wine. Like, we all need to know that, but I mean, boy, what a lot of fun. And again, it's the engagement and that. And then consideration, and it's consideration for the whole travel community. And we've been very determined to stick with the people that we've always worked with, and consider their positions and consider our clients and look at terms and conditions and take a really pragmatic and flexible approach. Because I think 9 out of 10 travelers right now, whatever they put down as a deposit, they're worried about, are they going to get that back? And if I can't get it back, what do I do? And people need that reassurance. And I think we need to all be thinking really carefully about how we go about that, and making sure that we think about the customer, the intermediaries, the agents, our partners, everybody. And then there's also the staff part. And we've really kept in touch with our staff throughout. We're all remote. We're all working from home. This is just the London team. But every 4 weeks, we've got a communications meeting, and I sit and spout about how we're doing and where we're going. And then the social committee come on and we play some games and have some fun. And then the sales team come along and show what they're doing and show their creativity. And it's that engagement. And then finally, it's the engagement with our own people in our own communities. And every property, without fail, is doing something in the local community to keep them alive in some cases, because this is a serious situation. And so keeping in touch with them and providing supplies and providing support, providing medical support in all these communities which are remote and devoid of any other governmental support in some cases. That's being critical. So it's that, I think it's already been mentioned, I think James mentioned, it's that word humility. And that's comes as such an important part of what we're doing.
Absolutely. And Ulusaba and Mahali, Missouri is open, or are they open again? Or?
No, Ulusaba isn't open. It isn't open. Okay. Mahali, Missouri is. Yeah, we opened that 2-3 weeks ago. So yeah, it's open for business, and we've had some visitors from the United States, which is fantastic. And then we're getting a lot of visitors from Kenya and Tanzania. and surrounding countries. So yeah, we're up and running, and we're being quite bold, and we've launched a couple of other properties in a low-key way, just so we get things going. I think that's important as well, to be bold, as long as you're safe.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for this lovely statements, definitely. Silvio, if you hear all this, I mean, you started from scratch. We at Lobster, we started from scratch. I also started with my husband in the living room when we created Lobster, same thing. And sometimes I feel now, I feel I am thrown back 13 years, because it's like, it was just a complete stop, and now I see opportunities. You know, I think it's a great time also, as sad and as bad as it is, but there are opportunities, and you are a very innovative, brave person. I mean, you became a founding member of Virtuoso in the EMEA. This has nothing to do with being brave, but I mean, being a founding member of something is something new, and a system in Europe is something new, an American system, adapting it to here. You're based in Berlin and Germany. And with all the experience you have, Silvio, what is your advice you give to our travel trade, your fellow travel advisors listening here nowadays, and what works best for you in these times that maybe we can have a takeaway? What do you think?
Well, first of all, you mentioned that we are a founding member of Virtuoso in Germany, and this is indeed correct. We joined in 2016 in a situation where I had absolutely no idea what Virtuoso is. As clear as it is. Someone asked me to join and put a large price tag on it, and I said, well, why not? After more than 4 years, I have to say that it was probably the best decision of my life. And Matthew, once again, thank you very much to you. And I think I said that several times. You have created probably the most powerful network in the industry, and you're really celebrating the power of connection. And I think this is what is extremely important at the moment, to celebrate the power of connection. And we have heard a lot from John and James and Matthew about creating connection to your customers. And this is indeed very important. But don't forget to create connections to your suppliers. Because what we have learned in the course of the last 5 months, it is very important to have great customers, but it's probably more important to have suppliers you can trust and you can rely on. And that always gives you the opportunity to solve problems and to create new opportunities, and really redevelop yourself. So very, very important, think about your suppliers as well. What I would definitely recommend to the fellow travel advisors, specifically in the German-speaking countries, is to reconsider how they source their product in the future. I think all of the advisors here in the call know how complicated it was to communicate with suppliers, tour operators in the last couple of weeks and months. Some big names are still not available via phone, and everyone is struggling to get any answer. So reconsider your way of working and consider to work directly. Just as a very, very interesting advice, from September 1st onwards, TIDS number, which you need to claim your commission with a direct booking, is free of charge. You can apply for that on the website of the IATA. It's free of charge from September 1st. It used to be 200 Swiss francs every year, and it used to be a great investment, and it's even better that it's free now. And that really opens up the opportunity for everyone to book direct with the hotel and with your suppliers. Then the next step would be certainly reconsider your technology. So many advisors, many travel agencies in the German-speaking markets are still using tour operators and still using a kind of a traditional setup. A lot of them are kind of afraid to using a GDS to make a direct reservation. So that's definitely something which I highly recommend to reconsider, because Matthew is already know what I'm talking about. It is so important to make a direct booking, to have the direct contact, and to have someone to talk about, whether special requests of the customers, whether any problems which may cause pre, post, or during the trip. And this is really a bold decision for everyone, but from my point of view, it's very important to do that. And then to make all of that work, it might be something to consider to creating networks or to joining a network. As mentioned, I joined Virtuoso in 2016. Probably one of the best decisions of my life. It really opens up a lot of doors, and it celebrates the power of connection. Just the virtuoso.com website, which opens up connections to director of sales, to general managers, to concierges, direct connections, which we can really use and which we're going to use on a daily basis, which is a fantastic thing. And if you're not brave enough to join a network of Virtuoso, or if you're not big enough, for instance, consider to create smaller networks. I found it absolutely fabulous that Aaron Stiefvater created Brain earlier this year. I think it's a great initiative to really bring agencies, bring advisors together, and have power against partners, against tour operators in this case. Or I read recently on Facebook that a travel advisor asked what the community is thinking about creating a community within their own city. So several travel advisors joining, renting one office instead of having 5 agencies in one city. Everyone is serving their individual customers still, but benefiting from the knowledge of each other. And I think that's definitely something which everyone should consider and really think about how you can change your business and how you could find better opportunities for your business in the future.
Fantastic, thank you. That was a lot of hands full of information from a pro, definitely. We got a lot of questions coming up here, but we will answer those later if that's okay. And Eric,
Astrid, there was a very interesting question in the chat from Diane Tidstad. So she wrote, Sylvia, the only issue with working directly with the hotel is a lower commission, usually about 10%. When using a wholesaler, we usually get 14 to 15%. Yes, that's true. However, what we have learned, when you have a better connection to a hotel or to your partners in general, you're usually generating more revenue because you are able to serve your customers better. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when you are booked directly with a hotel, at least if the hotel is clever enough, there is a very good chance that you can offer your customers a one-of-a-kind experience, and not just being a number, you're being a valuable VIP customer. And we know that by heart, and I had experiences like this on my own. I booked a direct reservation, a Virtuoso reservation, apparently, on one stay, and on another stay, I unfortunately booked a rate via a third-party supplier, and the experience was a completely different one. And we know it can be hard, and to be honest, we're rather not talking about 10% commission, because you usually getting commission on the net rate and not on the gross rate. So realistically, we're talking about 8, but honestly, it's well worth to taking less money to serve your customers better, because that increases the likelihood that the customer is coming back to you and not confronting you with a piece of paper from booking.com, Expedia, or wherever, which said, this is €5 cheaper, and we rather want to book it there. So
that's a strong message, definitely. Thank you, absolutely. I think a lot of people agree here. That's a strong message. Also, we all know the budgets are tight, the revenues are tight, but it's now the way to reboot your business. James, innovation and marketing. Now going back to the supplier side, I am seeing all kinds of marketing activities out there at the moment from hotels or partners that are marketing their property like nothing ever happened, like full out. It's like ignoring their surroundings completely. We have others that are hiding completely because of travel bans, and they are not going out. So how innovative can or should we be, and how much marketing is healthy? What is your advice also in innovation? Should we roll out everything we have at the moment? What do you think?
So I think there are, as you said, many different ways that people are looking at this. My personal approach is everyone's inbox is very, very cluttered. I think there is a great element of over-marketing by many businesses that can yield no result from it because the country's closed, people can't get there, and it's a futile exercise. And it's just busy work. I think there's a lot of busy work going on because people want to be doing something, but what is that something and how do you get that something right? So if I look at Nihi Sumba's perspective, it's already 28 hours, 16 hours away from our major markets. 60% of our business is North American, and the majority of the rest is European and Australian. There's two ways. It's a connection of the heart with your repeat guests that have got relationships with the actual Sumbanese staff that work there. And I think that can be translated to any other business that's in a remote place, is having those connections with the people that they love and the people they connect with, which is often not the case, the senior leader of the business, the owner of the business, who it may be. It's the person that they deal with that's captured their heart and mind, and that's who they want to hear from. How do you do that? It can be done very easily. It can be done live, it can be done on WhatsApp, it can be done on your Insta stories, it can be done on your Insta lives. There are many, many different ways. So if I look at our digital journey on Nihi Sumba and our Instagram, it's probably been our most powerful way of communicating. In the beginning, I did a lot of Insta lives, but involved a lot of the Sumbanese. We had our own Sumbanese band. We sort of created a studio. It was our Studio 1A in New York, but it was in Sumba and it had an element of humor. Humor has to be interlaced into everything when there is tragedy and pain. People like to laugh and people like to see some levity in everything. Bali just was announced yesterday, and Indonesia is closed for the rest of the year. Am I going to cry about it? Well, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to do the best I can. What's the best I can do with my team? As soon as I can get a visa to return, I'm going to mobilize and work on the local market. Just as I was speaking to Luke Bell's, a dear friend of mine, with the Singita Lodges, he's all closed. He's contemplating working with the local market, because you have to. You've got to engage and you've got to do what you've got to do. And you can never let arrogance be a part of what you are, because that's what your business used to be. It's what your business is today. And I think gimmicks are wasteful. People see through gimmicks because it's not the time in the world for gimmickry. I think there is a time in the world for some good deals, because you may or may not know what's going to happen. People want their deposits back. So I was speaking to our team. You know, if we open for Christmas and New Year, I'm happy to give everyone a 50% discount if they book by October 15th. And if they can't come, I'll give them their money back. But I'm going to reward them for taking a chance on us to enjoy the edge of wildness in Sumba, socially distant, wildly connected. And I think it all is follow your intuition and don't do what the pack does. And be truthful to your business and to what the world wants now. And everything in appropriate scale and appropriate communication, as if you were being communicated to. You know, if you're seeing stuff that's coming over and over again, stuff in your digital feeds, it's like enough already. Just be respectful to that and share what's meaningful, that people are going to enjoy, and put a smile on their face and make them feel better that they're not with you in Sumba or Costa Rica or Colombia or Europe, that it's going to touch them and make their lives feel better.
Wow, that was amazingly strong. Thank you so much. I couldn't agree more. I mean, Matthew, this was really, really great. And we were talking about the social competence we have to have, and not we have to, it's not a have, that we should have intrinsically. We should have this if we are good people, obviously. Now, all these opportunities are rising. What about sustainable travel? This all goes together. We have been, before Greta was traveling from all the European countries, preaching sustainability, let's save the world, the climate. Do you see a chance now in this crisis so that we can shape and reshape this sustainable travel looking forward? What do you think?
Absolutely. And actually, I want to build on what James said, and I know with John, you know, obviously we're amazing partners with Virgin Limited and Silvio, so I feel at home here and with you, Astrid. But I think to build on what James was saying is, I think it's about authenticity. And so I'll answer the thing about sustainability because I think it actually goes, remember we were talking about crisis accelerating trends. So first and foremost, one of the biggest mistakes when people talk about marketing is they think marketing means promotion. Marketing means knowing your market, like knowing who these people are, what is of value to them, and how you actually provide that. And communication and authenticity of understanding and delivery on what's valuable to them is at the end of the day what real marketing is about. Promotion is just a technique of communication and doing that. So pricing and promotion and things like that are important. Number one, so communication. So first of all, we've tried to put everything in a frame of what we call the triple bottom line of travel: dreaming, doing, and remembering. And if you put travel in that context, you're not going to insult anybody, right? You're going to allow that framework to allow for every single person's personal perspective about travel to be appropriate to where they happen to be. When it comes to sustainability, I think what's interesting about this is, you know, the fact is that we have data, hard data that we did in a research with 36 countries about 4 years ago. It's one of my favorite data pieces I've ever heard. There's a thing called the commoditization of quality. And you've got incredible partners here because they totally fit the perfect example of this. The commoditization of quality is, you know, and by the way, since I'm in a German-based thing, I've also used the example of German cars, BMWs and Mercedes or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. What has happened in the world is because of German engineering, the baseline quality to stay competitive keeps growing. So if you think about buying a car 20 years ago, right, the base quality of even a cheap car wasn't that good. Today, the base quality keeps getting better and better and better. And so the consumer was telling us, as the difference in quality of what I expect to get keeps getting more narrow because the base quality keeps increasing, I'm starting to make my decisions based on something other than the quality I expect to receive. What are those things? Does this organization believe what I believe? Do they share the same values? Do they care about humanity? Do they care about the environment? Do they care about that? And particularly in the high net worth world, in countries all over the world, parents, for example, that come from high net worth families want to make sure that their travels are not only pleasurable, but instill a set of values in their children, in their communities. And they want to make sure that their expenditure of their travel is, of course, a great experience, but also if you can show and tell the story about how that investment also becomes something that does something good, then you're able to actually build a differentiating point. And the last point I want to make is we just had our Under One Sky sustainability event during Virtuoso Travel Week. There is mounting evidence that companies that have strong, what's called ESG, environmental and social governance, they are starting to actually outperform those that don't. Oh. So we actually wanted to show that being sustainable, caring about this, caring about your staff, caring about the community, caring about the customers, I believe, and I was talking to the chairman of Omnicom once, I believe that there's so much pressure on commoditization that one of the few things that will keep a margin alive is purpose and emotion. And if you think about luxury, a lot of times that's what you're paying for. So that's why I think sustainability. Yeah. Now, the one mistake I think people make is we look at sustainability in three forms: environment, protection of natural and cultural heritage, and benefiting the local economies. So I think that, you know, a year ago, we were worried about over-tourism and how bad that can be. Now we're facing an under-tourism catastrophe. We need to put a face. What James was saying is exactly right. And I know what John has done as well. Those actual people that are being affected because there's no tourism, we need to show their faces. We need to put them front and center of the story of travel.
Wow.
That's just another picture.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely. James, your mic is not on. Thanks, Nancy. No.
I think just to add to that, the power of the Sumba Foundation, if you look at saying having a 30% repeat, 30% of your guests come back every year, 90% of that, yes, it's a beautiful place and it executes and it's exotic, is because of the Sumba Foundation. Is children seeing the $10,000 donation they've made to build a well in the community, they go back every year to see that well, to see the children growing up, and that connection with the local people in Sumba through the Sumba Foundation being the engine that propels that is one out in the relationship that we have with the foundation and the resort. And it's only, to your point, Matthew, going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, because that's what travel, and that's from a high-end perspective, what people want their children to see, to touch, because it's real. And I think there are many, many businesses who have tried to dabble in that segment, and they are not truthful. And if you dig into it, you can see that it's skin deep. And people are wiser to be able to see the realities and to see what's truly meaningful and what's not.
Absolutely.
If I could just say, I think that is a really important point about being truthful. And when Matthew was talking about purpose and emotion, I wrote down another word as well, which I think goes with that. And that's something that you have to get into your organization and into people's minds. And that's culture. And I'm not talking about local culture. I'm talking about behavior and how everybody thinks and how everybody reacts. And we're seeing wonderful examples right across our collection of how our teams are really reacting to this situation and how they're responding. And it's so important. I think Matthew used the phrase, travel with purpose. I think that is absolutely spot on. I think it's something that we all need to embrace as a travel community.
Absolutely, and that's also the next question for you, John, actually. Do you think that this will change the way people think about travel in the future and how they will travel?
Without a shadow of a doubt, because I mean, apart from worrying about whether you're going to lose your deposit or you're going to be able to actually get there, everybody needs to know that you're going somewhere safe, and that I'm the hotelier here on the panel, as it were, and one of the hoteliers, and we need to make sure our properties are clean and that the staff are well trained and that they're well versed in what the protocols are. And I think that's going to be absolutely critical, because at this level, with high net worth people traveling in the luxury market, people are going to rightly take that for granted, and they're going to put their trust in you. So I think you need to be really sharp on that. I think we need to be very, very customer centric and think about what it is they want. And again, this is more about being flexible. And we're lucky, and I'm not just trying to promote Virgin Limited Edition, but we're very lucky that we have properties where you can buy the whole property out. You have exclusive use, you can have buyouts. We've got private islands. We've got lovely remote locations where you can take areas for yourself. And people will want to travel in their family bubbles because they're going to feel safe like that. And this word safe and trust, I think, are absolutely critical. And then coupled with that, and it's really emphasizing what James and Matthew already said, but the communities that people are traveling to. Yeah. People really want to think that they're making a contribution, and they want to know that they're making a contribution. And I remember having these kind of discussions 10 years ago, maybe even less than that. And it was part of the decision-making process. I think today it's even more important. And this is just going to push that whole decision-making process right to the top. You know, where am I going, and what good can I do? And because people want to feel good about what they're doing as well. And if they're spending a lot of money and they know they're making a fantastic contribution to that local community, that's a really, really good thing. And it's a culture that you get in between your own people and your guests.
I cannot wait to get more of this. Being in the travel industry in the future, honestly, I'm really, really, really keen.
Astrid, if you allow me one word in regards to what John said, indeed, it's very important, and travel will change, and it is very important to be very transparent to the advisors as well as to the customers. And we have seen some great examples, and indeed we will see customers who are very much afraid about their health and security situation, so they prefer eating in their own environment, renting out entire places, and so on. But on the other hand, we do see, and this is the majority of our customers actually, we see a lot of customers who want to see as much normal as possible. And it is extremely crucial that hotels and hotel chains and suppliers in general are communicating very clearly and very open about that. Just having two examples in regards to that, Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts have a great website, fourseasons.com/welcome-back, where they outline all facilities which are open on property, if the restaurants are open, what kind of security measures are crucial and needed. So giving as much information as possible. And another great initiative, and something which I was absolutely blown away from, was that, and saying that, so I'm a member of the Marriott Luxury Leisure Advisory Council, so an advisory board which is created by Marriott in every region of the world. And a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from the VP sales with the question if we as travel advisors, or what we as travel advisors think about introducing masks in all hotels, regardless of restrictions made by the government. And it was quite clear that Marriott wants to make a decision based on the feedback from the advisory board, or at least they want to incorporate it. And I think the response was quite clear, because we haven't seen introduction of face masks in Europe so far. And I think for most Europeans, that's the right decision. And for most European countries, that's the right decision. And just talking to each other, be very honest, and having an open conversation, even about questions you would probably have not discussed prior to COVID-19.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you. And I mean, it's your turn again, because that also brings me to your question, Silvio, which you partially already answered. I'm always amazed by the fact how strong individual properties, small properties like Nihi, Virgin is a small group, etc., can be, you know, how much power they can have, but not being part of a chain or a brand. And I'm also fascinated of the power of the brand. And Sylvia, you work a lot with brands, but what is your advice? You gave us some advice. We always like to invite these specialists to travel to tell the suppliers what is also needed. You gave a lot of examples. Do you think, you know, individual privately owned hotels that don't have an affiliation versus the brand hotels have a chance now if they don't have big marketing budget or marketing budget at all?
Well, first of all, I think it's very important that hoteliers consider advisors and travel agency as a serious source of business. Mm-hmm. We have seen that specifically in the driving markets in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and our neighboring countries. A lot of hoteliers have simply not understood that advisors and agencies are a valuable source of business. So that would be the first step to really understand the value. Another very important thing from my point of view would be choosing the right channel to communicate to the advisors, and Lobster Experience certainly, or Loop, the lovely trade show, would be a great opportunity for that, because it brings you to the right advisors. Then, even that you said you're more focused on the properties which are individual and cannot afford or don't want to join a larger affiliation, I would actually reconsider that decision at some point. We have seen some amazing examples, like the Schloss Liese, a castle close to the Mosel River, about 100 kilometers out of Frankfurt, a property I had never heard of before they joined the Autograph Collection of Marriott in January. And they completely understood the concept of working with an advisor, created amenities which are unique to the advisor community. For instance, a stay 4, pay 3 promotion, which is not available through any OTA or any other channel. So that's a great way to use the power of an affiliation. But even if you are not in an affiliation, think about how you can value advisors and creating amenity-based programs which sets travel advisors apart from everyone else. I think the hoteliers here in that call know exactly that they need to pay 16, 18, 20, 23% commission to many OTAs. Why not paying 10% commission to an advisor and include valuable amenities for 10% of the room revenue, which sets the advisor apart and which creates a situation where the travel advisor can go to the customer and say, well, you want to stay there? Great, I have this price, but you get this. And this is something even a small hotel or even a small hotel chain can achieve. One of the fabulous examples is the Noble House Hotels and Resorts in the United States of America. They have just created a program called V.I.P advisor program. And very easy, you just need to register on their website once. It gets loaded straight into the GDS, and you get breakfast free of charge, you get upgrades free of charge, depending on the property, depending on the length of stay, very easy to handle, and it really elevates their program. It's a small chain with about 10 hotels, and it really increased our ability to sell them quite tremendously. Another opportunity would be certainly to have all your information in the right place. I recently had the situation that I was talking to a hotelier in Munich, and he said, well, we have a great property in Austria. Can you sell that as well? And I said, yes, we can, as long as it's available via GDS. Then we checked GDS loading, and you wouldn't believe it, there was absolutely nothing loaded. After a little bit of research, we found out that they haven't checked their GDS loadings for almost 10 years, because descriptions, closing dates, stuff like this, dating back to 2009. So when you have GDS connectivity, check your rate loading, make sure it is accurate and it is bookable. And if you don't have a GDS ability, or you don't want to have a GDS ability, think about having the ability for a travel advisor to book on your online booking engine. I would say 99% of all hotels in the world is going to have an internet booking engine. Create an area. Most booking engine tools will have a function which allows you, with typing in an IATA number or typing in a registration number, to give advisors the ability to book. One of the examples, a great tool called Web Hotelier, one of the programs used by many of the Greek hotels, very easy for an advisor to use. You just need to register once, and then you can book more than 400 hotels in that tool. So that's definitely something I would recommend. And last but not least, and maybe even more important, find a way to distribute your information to the advisors. So you can have the most amazing program in the world, the most amazing property in the world. If you don't have the right way to communicate, you're gonna lost. And certainly Lobster and Loop are a great opportunity. But if I could make a wish, my dear Astrid, try to create exactly this network, what I'm talking about, for the German-speaking market, because that would really set you, that would set a lot of hoteliers apart from many others, and could be a great opportunity for all of us.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. We have an amazing mix of knowledge here, as you can see. Everything is there, and I think we all need facts as well. In my previous talks, I was asked, Astrid, we want facts. How do we get that? We want real stuff as well. We need both. Thank you so much, Silvio, for this fantastic insight.
Astrid, can I want to just,
I
just want to plus one quick thing that Silvio said.
Of course.
I think, Silvio, that was amazing because it was so very specific.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What I would say to our hotel friends around the world is, it really comes down to this simple thing. There's two kinds of independent properties. Those that see working with advisors as a strategic part of their business and make sure that they have an entire strategy about how to do it. And then there are those independent hotels that look at it as cheaper bookings that they get every now and then. So all I say is, whatever you do, don't waste your time or our time. Either get in it and do it right, or don't do it at all.
That is so true.
And as a hotelier, I had my head in my hands then when Matthew was saying that. If you don't take the trade seriously and you don't work with them, then sorry, you don't belong in the trade. Yeah. You just don't belong. We have to work together, absolutely, and it's the best way forward.
But John, believe it or not, there are hoteliers out there, and specifically in the German-speaking markets, who have not understood how the situation can be. And I had about 1 year ago a very famous 5-star hotel from Germany in my office. They belong to the leading hotels of the world, so a large affiliation. And the sales manager was sitting in my office and was telling me, oh, she's really wondering that there are people who are still booking with a travel agency, because I was asking just for rate loading, because I didn't even have a rate loading into the year. So
yeah, I mean, that's
you're right.
What we have to do. Yeah.
You are either in it or out of it. And if you don't want to have travel advisor bookings, probably just put it on your website. No, we don't care about travel advisor bookings, and call someone else. I'm fine with that. It's the decision of everyone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for this really good words and clear words. I think that we need clarity here, that's for sure. Hey guys, we're coming to an end. And I wish to thank every single panel member sincerely of the bottom of my heart for this wonderful participation. And before we end, I would like each one of you, please, to give a brief word of wisdom, of encouragement and advice to our audience to take home with you, with them, with us, for all of us. James, you sitting at beautiful Utah Sorrel River Ranch, James as you are, what is your part of wisdom for us that we can take home in this beautiful coulis you have here? It's amazing. Well,
I've got a black crow singing above me right now, squawking. So I'm going to take that as a sign. Hey! I'm gonna take that as a sign of good luck and prosperity, because if a black crow keeps singing above you from Moab and Sorrel Ranch, that can only be good. No, on a serious note. And I think just to add, I was in Park City and Deer Valley and Moab. You know, everyone's wearing masks here. In the USA gets a lot of negative press everywhere. Even on exotic hikes, people are wearing masks, and I've been, you know, just very impressed in these environments of how everyone is adapted, is respectful. And you can have all the rules and regulations you want. People will follow them or they won't. But I think in the luxury travel market, people embrace what they need to. And I've seen that really throughout the West where I am now, and even in New York and other places. Positivity, humor, interacting with people as much as you can, facing reality, communicating as often as you can, being realistic, being true to yourself, being true to your customer, and being truly just true to the world. We'll all get through this. The world will be back. It'll be stronger. It'll be better. But just be positive. Life is still beautiful, and we're all very lucky to be here.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Matthew, do you wanna continue, please?
Well, surprise, surprise. Keep leaning on human connection. And then two other things that I think are really important right now. One of them is, we're not going to sugarcoat how difficult this road ahead is. We don't know the length of it yet. But I do want to remind everybody that all of the things that were driving the greatest growth in travel in the history of the planet, all of those reasons, the fact that for the first time in the history of the planet, we will have 5 generations of human beings all wanting to travel at the same time because of the longevity revolution. All of those things are still there. They're on pause. So we are getting all these reports about 150% increase in Google searches for vacations, Harris Post, so all those things are there. And then the last thing that I would say is something I've said to our network and my friends. Self-care is an active pursuit, not a passive pursuit. So make sure, you know, it's kind of like, since we don't travel on planes anymore, remember every time you get on a plane, it says, please put on that oxygen mask first, so you can help others. Take care of yourself and know that self-care is an active pursuit, and do that for yourself.
So true. Thank you, James. Matthew, sorry, James. I'm confused. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm mixing everything up. Wonderful. John, what would you like to say to our audience and to us?
I think there's an awful lot of worried people out there and a lot of people having a hard time. And I said this to a similar panel discussion just last week. You know, it will come back. The pent-up demand is there, and I bet everybody on this webinar today can give examples of that. So it will come back and we will be stronger. And I mean, let's face it, imagine the world without us people in the travel industry. You just can't imagine it. So be strong when it comes to that, and keep innovating. Keep thinking digital, because that is the way forward. And it's not necessarily revolutionary. You know, everyone's been doing Instagram and Facebook and so on for ages, but there's much more there to be got at, and we should think about that. Communication. You've got to communicate with your people, with your partners, with your customers. You've got to keep that up, and you've got to keep doing it and be consistent. And consideration. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a good human being and looking out for people, no matter where they are or what they're doing. And I think finally, transparency in partnership. I think if you're doing that, then you're off on the right foot, and we're in it together.
Thank you very much, John. Definitely agree. Silvio, last but not least.
Well, first of all, I would like to address one chat message from John Green earlier today. He was concerned about that I said, or that I put all the tour operators in one pot, and this is indeed not what I want to say. It certainly makes a lot of sense to choose your partner, and it can be certainly a tour operator or a hotelier wisely. I would just recommend not putting your money on the big ones, and rather choosing someone who is trustworthy and value the connection you have with them. So that was just the response to that. Further on, I think we're going to have a very hard time altogether in the next couple of months, and quite realistically, I don't believe that will be over within the next 12 or 18 months. However, I think we as a tourism industry, where we always just know the way up and just saw more and more business coming in, we never had a chance to reconsider what we're doing and how we are doing things. And this is the moment and the time where we all can reconsider how we want to do business in the future. And I think it's an amazing opportunity. And after a couple of weeks of sadness back in March and April, I'm really in a situation right now that I'm full of energy and full of power, and really see a bright future for the entire industry. And I can only say, everyone out there, all the advisors specifically, reconsider how you're going to do business, how you want to do business, and the way how you do business. And all the suppliers, all the hoteliers out there, talk to your partners, talk to your travel agencies, talk to your advisors, and make sure you value the value of the advisors. Thank you, Astrid. Thank you, Matthew.
So
thank you, John. Thank you, James. It was a great pleasure.
I'm not done yet. No, just I just
sorry.
I mean, I wanted to say thank you. I wanted to thank you from the deepest of my heart. And I would like to close. I heard this in one of the talks of Tina Lira, which is one of my close friends and one of the panelists said, and I just love it. We have not come this far to get this far. So guys, keep on pushing. Don't give up, and get used to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. This is the reality, and this is what we need to do, and we'll make it, and we'll do it, and we will continue, because we love this industry. Otherwise, we wouldn't all be here, and all you guys wouldn't be here. And yeah, that's my ending. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day, and take care. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Cheers to all of you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you for all your support.
Thank you
very much.
Ciao.
Thank you.